Hi, I'm a slice of Jane's Addiction, and you're listening to 89 FM Radio Rock.
So, guys, you're back to Brazil for Lollapalooza this year, and how are the expectations to meet up with the Brazilian crowd? And also, what can we expect from the show?
I would personally like to ask Eric that because Eric has not been to Brazil with Jane's Addiction. So I'd like to hear his expectation.
My expectation is that we're going to bring the best version of Jane's Addiction that has been down there for Lollapalooza.
Yep.
And that it is going to meet head on with the Brazilian passion, and that undoubtedly sparks will fly and it will be a good night.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone want to add something?
And then we'll do another night. We have 2 nights down there, so we're gonna double that. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll do it twice.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask you about that night because can we expect anything special from it? How it's gonna be?
Yeah. You know, we played last night in this place in Tucson, Arizona, and it reminded us when I walked into sound check. There was no chairs. It was just like 2 poles in a room that was slanted, and there's the soundboard. And it just reminded me so much of the tour that we did when we opened for the Ramones.
Mm.
And, you know, I mean, money aside, money's money. We didn't make that much money on it, but boy, did we have a memory and did we have a great time. There's something about a perfect size show when people can be free to move around and dance around the same way that we're all dancing around on stage. No chairs there. And you can look at their eyes, look in their eyes, look at their T-shirt, what they're wearing. You know, wow, that dude, he must be like in his 60s. And then there's some kid who looks like he's barely 18. I mean, both are great. One, obviously, it's grander, but a true-hearted musician, and especially cats like us that we've been on the road our entire career. We're live players. We like both.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's get a few things straight. Perry, you're the founder of Lollapalooza, and what is so funny is that it was supposed to be like a farewell tour for Jane's Addiction, right? And here we are, 30 years later. The festival became a huge name, like one of the biggest worldwide, and you guys are still going strong and performing in it. And my question is, did you imagine that this is how things were ended up, like after many years?
I personally looked at Lollapalooza and Jane's Addiction as if they were going to be people or something that I just knew in the past. You know, I thought it was coming to an end. I didn't think we would ever play again. I didn't think there'd be a Lollapalooza.
And, you know, you guys be on the road for like almost 40 years now. What do you think is the main thing that keeps you going and just makes you so remarkable?
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the best job you could possibly have on the planet. You know, whatever you love to do, I'm sure you're doing it right now. You seem happy. And we're so happy when we're doing what we do. And, you know, and to actually bring the music from place to place. You know, for last night we were in Arizona. In the 2 weeks, we're going to be with you. And then from there, we're going to be in Australia. And these are places you always want to visit anyways. And they get to play music. And then, you know, it's just the best thing we can do. And I think we're good when we do it together.
Yeah. And you know what's really cool? You know, I'm finding new ways to dig being an elder gentleman. And one of the things is I love, you know, this crowd that we were in last night. I'm just thinking to myself, God, what a life. I've been so fortunate to be able to rock people. This is what I wanted to say about it, was that now the audiences, I used to wonder if they liked us or not. But now I figured out that as an elder gentleman, of course they like you, man. They're there because they want to see you. They put their fist in their pocket, pulled out cash, and said, I have to see these guys. I love these guys. So it used to be in the old days, I mean, like when we first started, we were pretty damn punk. People would spit, and you never knew if they liked you, if they were spitting because that was an endearing spit, or if it was a just screw you spit. You know what I mean? But now, knowing that they really, really, they knew, you know, the young kids, they've heard, you've got to go and see them. If you're into music, they're a must. The older cats, they've had a chance to decide for themselves, do they like us or not? And so it's really cool to see them too, because now I feel like I can relax because I know everybody in this room is here for the same reason. We all want to be here.
100%. Like, people love you guys, and I'm 21, and I just love you guys too. And you know,
Thank
I'm
you.
young. I didn't see you guys like in the 90s. I wasn't even born there, but like I
Right.
know you. Like, music's about passion, you know.
Yeah.
And 100%. You're so right. And recently, it was announced that Josh was going to replace Dave on the rest of the tour, and we hope Dave is doing well. But we
Doing
know
good.
Josh is a close friend and very talented. How's it been working with him this time? And also, what are the change of dynamics that you guys been dealing with?
Well, I love him like a brother. So even before Jane's Addiction, so I get to have another brother in the band. So and then on top of that, on the personal side, he is a consummate musician. He's just amazing. And I mean, as you're saying, you know about him yourself. Yeah, and he's just slotted in, and the guys have just accepted him, and he's just without a hitch of any kind. It's just been seamless, and he's really brought a vitality with him that we've fed off of, which is really sort of revitalizing a lot of the older songs. We're able to play with them a little. We're able to sort of expand parts and to improvise and to make parts longer and shorter in the moment. Like last night, Perry was sort of directing parts where he would like spin his finger, like keep going, you know, and you know, and so everything became elastic and dynamic and lively, and that has everything to do with Josh.
Yep, and always in an interesting way. He's interested in finding a way, and when he delivers, it's always interesting. And I remember 20 years ago seeing him play with PJ Harvey. He went from drums to keyboards to guitar to bass, and I was like, I want to play with this kid one day. And he's in my band now. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's just, it is so great. Yeah, it's really been fun. It's been good.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah. And actually, the night that I met him, Perry, I don't know if I told you this, but the night I met Josh all those years ago was when he did a small gig here in Silver Lake at Spaceland Club with Frusciante and Flea, and they just did only Joy Division covers.
That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that was the first night I met Josh. That was the beginning of our friendship. Was that night? So, and
I like him more.
Sorry, Luiza. It was Joy Division was one of the two bands that sort of Perry and I sort of bonded over musically in
Got it.
1.0. So yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
I just found I'm just starting to learn of the legend of Josh. So I'm being a little inquisitive now, and I asked him about his family. He told me his father was a sound man, like the guy who holds the boom on the TV shows or the movies. So when he told me that, I just immediately pictured this sound man's DNA in Josh with, he's not holding a boom, but he's holding the guitar now. Josh plays like that. He is a great listener. The best musicians are also the best listeners. Listening is so important because you can play off of each other when you're listening. There was a moment last night, Stevie pointed it out. Everybody went into nothing, and I was the only musician singing my line. That never has happened. Usually I'm fighting and my voice is going. It's going because no one's listening to me. They're drowning me. Different world now. Josh is a listener, not a drowner.
That's a great perspective.
He's a lifeguard.
Right.
Luiza,
Leslie,
last question, please.
yeah. Leslie, you guys are finally releasing a new album after, so long at this point. How was the process of reuniting again and to produce like a new material after, a time away? And what can we expect from it?
I feel that this new bunch of songs, we don't know how many we're going to put out, but I can tell you one thing. It's been one of the most exciting times of my life because these songs are that good. So we're putting something out that I'm listening to and I'm going, and when a musician, when I mean it's that good, when a musician knows when he's hearing something that he says to himself or she says to herself, I can't wait for people to hear this.
yeah,
That's what I've been experiencing.
Yeah.
me too,
That
me
feeling,
too.
that pride you want to share, or the feeling you wish you were on it when you hear someone else's music and it's that good.
Yeah,
Damn, I wish that.
that's not that good of an experience as what we've been doing.
No, it's such a great experience to have not only the space and the time to make music together, but I find it a great challenge to make the best thing we can possibly. What's our potential? Let's live up to it. Let's just keep, let's just go for it as hard as we can. Let's not give up until we reach that peak. And that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's nice. I can't wait to hear it. And I can't wait to see you guys here in Brazil. Thank you so much for your time. It was an honor.
89, a Rádio Rock.